So let's hear it for Kathy Griffin.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi. Woo. Tiffany. I love you.
I love you too.
All right, look at this. My therapy dog is here. Thank God. Don't we all need one these days? Hello, Indians and Asians who are smart. And the white people who cheated to get in. Hi. Oh, I'm going to trigger everybody.
Welcome to Google.
I love it. It's so exciting. Do you guys know how exciting this is? I feel like, don't get jaded on me. This is, like, when I was at Polly's Pies, it wasn't like this. When I was a teller at First Federal, till I got fired for banging the guy in the vault, it was not nearly this nice. Who knows who I am? Who here thinks I'm Reba?
Reba.
Tiffany, you promised.
I'm sorry.
You promised.
I'm sorry. Well, we're here today because Kathy has an amazing new book called Kathy Griffin's Celebrity Run-Ins, My A to Z Index. And I'm here to talk about some of the stories because I firsthand experienced them. So they actually did happen. Whatever is in this book.
This is incredibly validating for me because my big gripe is occasionally, let's just say Ryan Seacrest or some other random celebrity. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been fucking with Ryan. I've been canceling on him every day. Like, I know you guys are too cool for Seacrest, but every day he has to announce that Kathy Griffin canceled. And every day he texts me, he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, too famous. So, but you should know, I'm actually going to do his show on Monday.
Yeah, on my way here, I was listening to him, and he said Kathy had canceled. So
Good. Very famous.
I assumed you canceled to be here.
I'm the new Mariah, but with dick jokes.
Yeah.
How much can we not wait till Mariah's World? I'm Yep. There's a gaygler. What do you call him?
Gagler?
There's a gaygler. I got your back. I'm one too. I got your back. I got your back.
Now that I don't even know where to begin because reading the book, it was kind of just like going down memory lane with you.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
it was actually hard. I started with 500 famous people because, you know, I'm 56 years old, I'm a chick comic, and I've now kind of like almost met everybody, right? So even though A-listers hate me for obvious reasons, I'm the one they call when they need someone to host their fucking charity gig for free. So believe it or not, my dirty secret is a lot of the way I know a lot of these people that I wrote about is because they just happen to be I don't want to say crosshairs because Sarah Palin might be Secretary of State, but a lot of times I would just sort of be around. Oh, remember when I tortured Timberlake at the when he was reading the prompter? All right, so she thought she was going to marry Justin Timberlake. Very original, by the way.
No, but this is one of the events I didn't go with you.
Oh no!
And you ran into him.
So do you think that that's why he's with that whore Jessica Biel?
Yes, I'm waiting.
We talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
So like one time I first met Timberlake. We actually co-hosted the Billboard Music Awards together once, NSYNC and myself. He was okay by then, but when he was with Britney, I thought he was like a little tough on her. But I also think Britney had some issues that she was working on. So that could be that.
Today is her birthday, if you want.
I love her unconditionally. I actually have a story in the book about Britney because if you go see her show in Vegas, it is, very filled with dancing.
We called it a dance extravaganza.
It's a dance extravaganza.
Yes.
If you're not in the mood for any singing, go to the Britney show. And she actually does a song called Freak Show. And so my current assistant, who of course is no Tiffany, there's only one, he said, why don't you call and ask to be the cameo when she sings Freak Show? And so I called her manager, who also manages Miley. That's a full plate. And I think that was really funny because I said, can I be the slave in the cameo? And then her manager goes like this, let me run it by Brit. I go, you do that. You run it by, what does that mean, run it by Brit? You know what I mean? She's asleep and Nanny's got the kids and she's tanning and then just say yes. But anyway, that was fun. And you can even see it on the YouTube where my little getting whipped by Britney Spears. I've had quite a life and continue to grow.
Yeah. One of my favorite stories you kind of touched on in the book is you do New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper every year, and you're doing it again this year.
Yeah.
And I've been with you on the podium a couple of times.
Right up there.
But you just touched upon the one time you asked me to go to the bank an hour before
we
went live to get $5,000 dollar bills.
Yeah.
because you wanted to make it rain in the crowd.
I'm not going to apologize for excellent ideas. So yeah, when Tiff worked for me, I mean, whenever we would do New Year's Eve with Anderson, it was always an adventure and scheming, like how we could mess with him. And sometimes we would have dinner with him before, and he'd already start his like twitching and like, what's going to happen? I'm not going to ask, but what's going to happen? Is it going to hurt? Is my hair going to get ruined? And so, I don't know if I got this brilliant idea the day before, but I said, I had to call my CPA and everything. I was like, go to the bank and get 5,000 singles. And Tiffany's like, okay, and just went. So I had them in my pockets. And then when it came time to be about midnight, I thought it'd be hilarious to make it rain. And like I watch on the Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. I don't know what Jocelyn is thinking, but I don't trust that Stevie J as far as I can throw him. Anyway, so then when the cops saw me pull it out, they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, go about your business of shooting innocent black people. And truth hurts, babe, BLM. All right, so I said, I'm just gonna make it rain. And then they like went into a panic. And so these cops just took my hands down, took the money down, because apparently they thought it would cause some sort of scene to take.
A riot?
A riot was the word they used, to be just putting money and having it rain on 500,000 people in an unexpected way. Many who have been in pens like veal all day with colostomy bags, but still drinking.
Yeah, so I was stuck all night holding the bag of dollar
Where did you
bills.
go get 5,000 singles?
I walked to the bank, like down the street.
Were you scared walking home?
I wasn't scared. It was just like snowing. I'm like, why am I having
you were
a
like
bag
Santa.
full of?
Did your bag have the dollar sign on it?
No, I like disguised it so I wouldn't get like mugged or anything. But yeah, out of all the celebrities in the book, who was the nicest celebrity?
There's a lot of nice ones. Believe it or not, it's not really a takedown book. Like, I talk shit about some people, but a lot of the entries are just about stuff you might not know. Like, honestly, what inspired the book is a true story, but it's going to sound like I'm making it up. But about a year ago, I was in New York at the Trump International. Go ahead and judge me. Go ahead. But because it's right next to CNN, I was getting ready for New Year's Eve. And so I was with my boyfriend, who's 18 years younger. That's right. That's right. And so we were watching Straight Outta Compton.
Oh.
And yeah, because I'm urban. And I turned to him, and because he's younger, I said, Randy, I don't know if you know this, but like, I've been around so freaking long. I've actually worked with 4 of the people portrayed in this movie. Snoop Dogg made out with me when I hosted the Billboard Music Awards after Garth Brooks said he didn't want to. I just wanted, side note. Dr. Dre cast me in the Eminem Real Slim Shady video. Let's see, Tupac Shakur, I worked for on a TV show called Saturday Night Special, produced by Roseanne, and Ice-T was the guest, and he just brought Tupac along. And you can go online, and Roseanne talked them into doing a sketch where they sing "You Don't Bring Me Flowers" together. But what was amazing was I just wanted to follow Tupac around because Ice-T, like, I know him a little bit now because of Law & Order, but like, it's not like I know him. But Tupac, with the freaking bandana and everything, so he was having tremendous trouble reading. So I'm like a rabbit, not a rabbit, I'm a extreme dyslexic. So I was sort of fascinated with 2 things. Can you be that famous and be dyslexic? Can you be that famous and be illiterate? So I'm not saying he's literate. I'm borderline illiterate. Like, you should see the text I sent her. She's got to translate.
It's decoding.
It is. It's like from my dyslexia to Siri to you. So I don't even know what I sent you today, but I apologize. And then the last one is Tiffany and I one time. Do you guys know the black comic Katt Williams? He's got like straight hair. I love him. I know he's in trouble sometimes with the Johnny Law, but I just think he's brilliant. So we went over there one time, and his 2 mastiffs almost killed the crew. But he does love a giant mastiff. So
I forgot we filmed with him for the D-List.
Don't you remember when the one dog got loose?
Yes.
And Kat, who's like this big, is like, nobody move. And we're all like, there's a giant mastiff running. We're all like, we're not fucking moving, dude. Like, the one thing we're not doing, no one's gonna be like, meow. Like, trust me, there's a mastiff on the loose. So the last time, I don't know if I told you about the night Randy and I went over there.
No, that's what I was gonna bring up. The one story in the book that, and you've told me this before, was when you and Randy went to Kat's house and you spooned Suge Knight, because that's just frightening to even think about.
It was. Okay. So Katt Williams calls me one night, and he had just done a special that Spike Lee directed, and it was really good. And we were just talking about that. I was like, that's so cool. You should do film festivals with it. And then Kat goes like this, what are you and your people doing right now? I go, it's me in my pajamas and my boyfriend. That's my people. And he goes, can I send a car for your people? I go, no, but do you want me to come over? He's like, yes. I go, why don't I drive myself there and bring my person? So it was just funny. Like, he thinks I'm like some baller. And so anyway, we go over there, and he's at this house in Malibu, and he's got the mastiffs in cages under curtains. So then we get out of the car, and I go, hey, Katt, this is Whitey. And I threw Randy under the bus. And then, Katt had some friends there, and they had like the Lambos were there, not the yellow one, but he had some Lambos, and then those Porsche Can-Ams. What are they called? The motorcycle things that Bieber rides? Can-Am, yeah, so those things. I was afraid Bieber was gonna fucking show up. And so then Randy had the best line. He goes, that guy looks like Suge Knight. Because it is. So anyway, I went up to Suge, and I was just trying to make Katt laugh. And I said, Suge, when's the last time you just spooned with a lady and just had a tender moment? And then I walked, and I put his arms around me like this, and Katt was laughing, thank God. And then Suge, I go, how's that feel, Suge? And he goes, normally I like pussy. And I said, I know. But tonight, let's just try tenderness. So there you go. I actually know 4 of the people portrayed in Straight Outta Compton, and then I went, holy shit, I've met a lot of weird people and a lot of crazy interactions. I'm gonna write a book just about those.
Yeah. One of my favorite people we've spent a lot of time with is Gloria Estefan.
Yeah.
And you talk about in the book how we were staying at one of her guest houses.
Yeah.
One of her guest houses.
Right.
And you had the bright idea to take your top off and shimmy around on the dock.
Because I'm fun.
And dance, and we were laughing and whatever. And then the next...
You were there, don't even act innocent.
No,
you were
was
right
there.
You were, although on the tape, because we also videotaped me jumping
I filmed your back.
Yeah, but you can hear her yelling, what are you doing? I took my top off, jumped in the water, and it's not even like beautiful ocean water. It was like off the Star Island, whatever.
But we didn't know there were paparazzi across.
Until
front.
Gloria Estefan was like, she was so funny. She's like doing the dishes, and she's yelling out the window. She's like, there's paparazzi there every day, right?
So the next morning, we wake up to text messages, and she's a topless model now.
That's right. So. I'm a top, and I stand by it. Don't look at it, you pervert. I stand by the photo because it's so real that my tits are full-on pancake, and when I go to bed, they're right under here where they belong. That's right. I'm keeping it real. You wish.
I've seen you naked way too many times. I can't even count anymore.
I'm not the only celebrity you've seen naked. Like, you have seen some of the greatest celebrities of our time naked.
But you like to shock people, because even when you were filming Queen Latifah, the talk show, we were in the dressing room and we were doing body makeup.
Because I have the heartbreak of psoriasis. That's like a commercial from the 60s. I'm sorry. I have psoriasis.
But Queen Latifah knocked on the door to say hi before the show, and you were literally butt naked, and you just said, come in. Yeah, and I was like, what? Like, I'm trying to grab something.
And when she's doing my makeup, I'm standing spread eagle. So I'm like, hey, I call her Dana because her real name's Dana. I'm like, hey, Dana. And then she had to do like, ooh, damn, girl. Ooh, damn. All right, you still got it. Ooh, ooh. And then I gave her a little shake. You know what I mean?
And I just continued doing.
Oh, Tiffany was like, we almost have your ass. Tell them what ass crack powder is. Go ahead.
Ass crack powder.
Hello, the Emmys.
Baby
when I was
powder?
afraid I would get the ass crack sweat, the Emmys.
Yeah, I mean, the Emmy red carpet, it's always hot.
But tell them a normal Emmy morning for you.
Running around, making you like a smoothie, and checking the temperature.
And what happens when I'm naked, you into and dresses. Then I say, Tiffany, what if I get sweat marks?
Baby powder?
Where?
On your butt crack.
That's right. So you should know this woman can do everything. She has done my ass crack powder.
It's surprising, since I work at Google now, I haven't had to do any ass crack.
Are you guys sure? That does not seem like a sound business model to me.
A lot of the things I did for you, I don't. No body makeup, no ass crack. I don't.
What do you guys do?
Singles. I don't.
Where's Suge? Is he here? I feel like cuddling.
One story in the book that I had no idea about, and I worked for you for almost 7 years, was that you made out with Brian Austin Green from 90210, who's now married to Megan Fox.
All right, let me just break it down. So I was what you call a late bloomer. I was a virgin till I was like 100. And then I did that thing where I just fucking made up for lost time. So I'm just gonna say the 90s were a blur of horror behavior and enjoyment. So one time I was on a series, and Brian Austin Green, who played David Silver on the original 90210, who's now married to beautiful Megan Fox from that movie franchise.
Oh, Transformers.
Yeah. I don't go see movies
Sorry,
I know this is going to turn the room against me, but I don't go see movies that are cartoons or robots or suspended disbelief. Sorry.
You lost him. Know your audience.
But I'm excited to go see that new Chastain movie. That looks good. Right? What about the Warren Beatty one about Howard Hughes? That'll be good. All right, you guys love your robots. Anyway, so wait, what was I saying? The one about...
Brian Austin Green.
Oh, right. Okay, so I was doing a TV show, once again, the sketch show called Saturday Night Special. It had a really good cast, actually. Jennifer Coolidge was in it from all the Christopher Guest movies, and she's on Two Broke Girls now, and she's just brilliant. And because Roseanne was like at the height of her Roseanne fame, she could honestly just call anybody. So the show only ran 6 episodes, but I got to meet everyone from Sharon Stone to Green Day. Oh, I saw Billy Joel Armstrong again. Were you with me when he had that meltdown?
No, but I remember hearing about it.
I should have put that in the book. So when Billy Joe had his meltdown, and I know where I am, I'm close enough to his house in Oakland, but I've known him for a long time, and so at iHeartRadio, he had like a fucking psychotic Kanye moment on stage. And then backstage, I'm standing next to my girlfriend's Ryan Seacrest, and then I don't know why, but okay, you're Kathy Griffin, and I'm Billy Joe Armstrong. And this is iHeartRadio. There's thousands and thousands of kids. He just had a meltdown. He's breaking the instruments. He went to rehab the next day. And I swear to God, I'm not making this up. So there's Seacrest, there's me. Oh, thank God. And I don't know if it's just that like I'm older or because I actually did beat him a long time ago, but to this day, Seacrest is like, why'd he go to you? I go, because nobody trusts you with your hair tips. So that was a fun one. Did I miss the question again? Oh, Brian Austin Green.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm doing...
You got a hickey from Brian Austin.
You know what? It reminded me of like a backstage moment. So I do love a backstage moment. And so Brian Austin Green was a guest on the show for some reason, and I don't even know what happened. I probably just grabbed him and kissed him. And we made out for a while, and that was fine. And then a couple months later, I was hosting an award show, and he was there. Oh, you know why? He was a rapper. That's right.
Yes,
he always wanted me to come see his rap club, and he wanted to go by B.I.G. And you know I love a wigga. I know that's a bad word, but I can't get enough of white people who think they're black. It's like one of my favorite hilarious topics. So I never did go to support DJ Master B.A.G. However, when I saw him at the award show that I hosted, I was so dumb. I didn't know, like, you don't go to the after party with like thousands of people. You just like go someplace quiet or something. Mm-hmm. I'm at the after party, and then I'm like, Brian? And then we just started making out, and I thought I was kissing my neck, and then I was like, ow! It was like Twilight. And so I was on a sitcom, and the next day I had to go, and it was August, and I had to wear a turtleneck because I didn't want to admit to Brooke Shields that David Silver from 90210 gave me a giant hickey. And I haven't had a hickey since I was like 15. So there you go.
Definitely something I did not.
That Megan Fox must be covered. Covered constantly. She's got to wear a burqa just to cover those hickeys.
That's why they just keep having babies.
That's right. More tattoos to cover the hickeys.
Now, on another topic.
Yes.
Going from Brian Austin Green to some legends.
Yes.
You were really good friends with Joan Rivers.
Yes. You knew her.
Yes, she was amazing.
Yeah.
How was your relationship with her during her last years?
Well, I mean, there was like an evolution because when I very first met her, like the first time I met her, I actually went to see her at a nightclub and I like waited, in line to meet her and stuff. And then years would go by and we became super duper close when she played my mom on a sitcom. And then after that, we just stayed friends as comics. But, the thing about her and the thing I'm really enjoying is that posthumously, she's actually finally getting the respect that she really did deserve. And she was much better than I am about dealing with that. Like, I'm fucking bitter, party of one, big time. But we would get together, and she would really let a lot more stuff roll off her back. As she got older, she got a little more passionate about things, which I find happening too. That's fine. But the story I told in the book that I wanted to share, because I never told it when she was still with us, and it was a private part of her life. But I want to give her props. So first of all, as you know, the image was the opposite of who she was. She couldn't have been sweeter. She just was a complete mensch, a complete sweetheart for the Asians. A mensch is a Hebrew word. No, but I'm not Jewish either. I just will lapse into it. But anyway, so out of all the things we had together, she was a friend, she was a mentor, and I always say she was my person because, like I said, at 56, being a chick comic, like honestly, if you're going to go like 50 to 60 at a certain level, if you don't mind my assholeness, it's pretty much like Wanda, Ellen, and me. Like there's not a bunch of us in our 50s like still like out there and making a living and stuff. So in Joan's case, she was really alone. Like Phyllis Diller was like 20 years older than her. And so people like to lump them in together, but the history was always important to me. And she was just incredibly generous. Like when I went to perform in Iraq and Afghanistan and Kuwait and Uzbekistan, I didn't know who else to call because there was no other female comic who's even alive who would do those high-profile USO shows. Phyllis Diller had already passed, so I had to call Joan and go, I'm going to perform in Afghanistan, how does it work? And it was great because if I had talked to one of the guys, obviously the advice wouldn't really be applicable to me. So she, just want you to know, like she was really like that, and we laughed about everything. When we would get together alone, it was the most vicious tea spilling you can ever, and we would be vicious just to be vicious because it was fun. Like just vicious. And no one was more fun to be vicious with than her. And also she just taught me a lot about really going for it. And I really, just to be serious for 1 second, I admit I'm a big fat lefty, but I feel like truly in times like this, what I'm hearing, even on the signings, and I know when I go back on tour, I just hear over and over and over, everything is so unsettled, people want to laugh. So that's all I want to do. And I feel like Joan really put that first and foremost. And we shared like a work ethic and we shared a lot of things. But in the book, she called me up a few years ago. How long ago was this? Like 2010 or?
2011.
Something like that. And she's like, I'm going to see Chuck and Camilla. Do you want to be my +1? There's a story in this book that's going to blow your fucking mind. Joan Rivers takes me as her +1 to Windsor Castle and Buckingham Palace as her +1 to hang with Chuck and Camilla. Yes, exactly. And I'm sorry, all you young gays, I know Harry is your royal. But for me, there's only one Chuck. And if you recall, he famously said to Camilla Parker Bowles, I want to be your tampon, which I think is adorable. So shame on you. I think it is the highest form of compliment. And so I said to Joan, I said, well, if Chuck isn't going to try to be your tampon every 2 seconds, I'm happy to go. And we went, and it was just a magical, like 3 days. And we got adjoining rooms at the Ritz in London. That was her famous hotel, her favorite hotel. We got ready together. We went there, and she was so generous. So she introduces me to Chuck and Camilla. And there's like a doyen, right? Because obviously they don't know everybody. So immediately, though, I could see that Prince Charles adored Joan Rivers. And I thought, it's time for me to like reveal that. Like she wanted that to be her like secret, but she was like super duper classy. Like I know she was vulgar, but super duper classy. He adored her. Like he was giggling so much. Camilla fucking loves the dick joke. So there's that. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You guys don't get it with your Pippa. And Camilla's talking tampon. And so Joan was also so generous that because I wore like Oscar de la Renta. I wanted to really like kick it up. So we're walking around Windsor Castle, and then she's just busting me up. Because she knows them, so we're going into like secret rooms, and you can see the view, and it's beautiful, like fucking Downton Abbey. And she just keeps going like, Sarah Ferguson, stupid, 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 stupid. And I'm feeding her. I'm saying, Joan, maybe she wasn't fulfilled in the way. Are you kidding? Stupid. Stupid cunt. She could have had this whole thing. Stupid whore. And I was like, and that's what we bring to the royals. We bring a little bit of home. And when she introduced me to Prince Charles, it was just really sweet. Like she didn't have to be super duper sweet. And I'll be honest, most comics are not necessarily great to other comics, but she really was the exception. And she said, she calls him Charles. I call him Your Highness because I don't know to call him. But she's like, this is my friend Kathy Griffin. She's a very popular, outrageous comedian in the United States. And he leans in and he goes, well, without journalists or comedians, who would keep us honest? I love Chuck. I love him for saying that. So that's the Joan story that's in there.
Now, Joan was on Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah.
And what do you think she would say about our new president?
She actually did tell me one time. She said, because I'm known for like making enemies. Like right now I'm banned from like Ellen and Kelly and Regis or whatever who's that on this show now. I bit and scratched my way back on The View, by the way.
I saw.
I know. It was good to be back. And so I think wait, what was the question? I'm sorry.
What would Joan say about our new president?
Okay. I got nervous because she did say, do not make an enemy of him. He is a vicious enemy. Problem is, I'm the worst person to say that to. So about once a month, I tweet him, and this has now been more than 18 months, at real Donald Trump, or real Donald, whatever his real handle is. Why don't you do what you're supposed to do and get my fucking coffee, bitch? Now, I'm sure you all want to throw me over that wall, but, which by the way, I can't wait. I'm going over the wall. I go to Mexico twice a year. I can't wait. I want to get taco truck on every corner. All the things they thought would frighten us, I'm all for. I'm all for it. So the Donald story, I have a Donald story in here that is truly worth the price of the book alone. I'm not kidding, because it only happened to me. You witnessed it, so it's real.
I was there.
And I would say the other witness may not
remember.
Correct. All right, so here's what happened. So I say this with shame, but I've known the Donald off and on for like 20 years. And the reason I say that is I work in New York quite a bit. I live in California, but if you go to New York, he pretty much shows up to the opening of an envelope. So I'm just used to, really, like I'm used to just I'm sure you've met him because you've been with me. Were you with me at the Larry King thing?
Yes.
Okay, so the Larry King thing, they wanted to do a toast for Larry King, not a roast. So a toast is like softer. And Larry's, 100. I'm not going to turn down Larry King. But they had, do you remember who else was on that dais? It was so the dais is like this. You're on the stage. So it's weird. People are watching you eat, and then you get up and you make your remarks. So you're stuck next to who you're stuck to.
I don't remember who else.
You don't remember Don King in a Olympic outfit with a flag?
I probably just
blurted out.
Yeah.
And you remember Susie Orman yelling at me, girlfriend, I don't want you to sit next to the Donald. He is not for LGBT rights, girlfriend. You need to move your chair. And so, and I love Susie. She's one of my best friends. And you love Susie.
I love Susie too.
And so I was like, Susie, it's Larry's birthday. I can't move. And so anyway, I was next to Trump for like a couple of hours. And just, like I said, I'm used to dealing with this my entire career. And ladies, listen up, because I'm afraid I'm here as the chairwoman of the It Gets Worse campaign. Sorry, kids. Anyway, so Trump turns to me and he goes, so, you're a female comic. I know. And so I go, yeah, next thing you know, we're going to want to vote. Nothing. And then he goes like this, how much do you make? I go, how much do you make? And he goes, $1 billion. And I go, me too. So, like, I've had many run-ins with him. The other thing is whenever he sees me, what happened, the story in the book is that he wanted me to, of course, host his charity event at one of his fakakta golf courses that none of his supporters can afford to play at, allegedly, and Coulter. And so I don't care. I'm assuming you're liberal, but I don't care anymore. It's fucking over. I give the planet a month. We're all going to melt, so let's just enjoy it. I can't be worried about who's mad at me from this fucking book. The book's going to burn.
Remember when I used to do that?
Oh, that's right. Tiffany, when I would go off the rails, she would literally go like this, interview over, interview over. And then she would sing a Beatles song, because they can't clear it. Hey, Jude. Because when I start getting a little too real, interview over, help, I need somebody, help, not just anybody. All right, so I got to tell the golf course story. So anyway, the Donald always thinks that if you do him a favor, somehow he's doing you a favor. So his team called and they said, we want you to host this event. It's at the golf course. And I said, it's, across the country. And I said, no. And because I wanted to see what happened if you say no to him. And then they kept talking like as if I was going to do it. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go. And they were like, they go, why? And I go, because there's everything in it for Donald. Oh, by the way, he wants you to call him the Donald, which is the weird. Yeah. It's very the weird, because he has the issues with the brain. Okay, so, meaning not so the interested in the learning. Oh, did I offend the...
They had to switch.
I didn't know if you were like a super right-wing interpreter. And you were like, fuck this. I think Sean Hannity is a god, and everyone at Fox is great, including, in fact, Alex Jones and Steve Bannon is a hidden gem. All right, so I gotta give you a little shit. I can't resist. It makes my day. I'm sorry.
That's why I warned you we had interpreters.
That's my dream.
I know whenever we two were...
Fisting, blowjob, lick my butthole, fist me while I laugh. And that's called being a lady. All right. right, so you can see Trump and I would not necessarily get along. All right, so I go out there because he says, he gets me to host, but by telling me the headliner is Liza fucking Minnelli. So being a gay boy, and I've known since I was 7, I am jazz. Anyway, are you watching I'm Jazz? Is it me or is Jazz a little fucking moody, right? Like, I support your journey, Jazz, but be a little nicer. The poor brothers are ignored because she's transitioning. I have so many people transitioning at my signings, by the way, like my book signings. Now I'm just like, it's good to see you. Like, I don't even, because one lady got mad at me because I picked the wrong side of the fence. I know. I was like, so, female to male? She's like, no. I was like, oh, God, sorry. Sorry, Caitlin. All right, so anyway, so then I go out there because Liza's, going to sing, and there's only one Liza. And Tiffany, what is your impression of Liza since you've met her several times?
Yeah, we've spent quite a few. We've had Olive Garden in her apartment.
It's your favorite
together.
restaurant. Liza Minnelli with she's an EGOT, full.
Yeah.
Oscar, every award.
Yeah.
Olive
so we had
Garden.
to bring Olive Garden takeout to her house.
She loved it.
And then,
oh, honey, it's my favorite. Oh, honey, where's the garlic sticks? Oh, honey, did you get the sauce? Oh, I like the dipping sauce.
But I just love that she brought out her boombox during dinner and started playing music from her new album.
Don't act like if 21 Pilots did that, you wouldn't love it. Is that a group?
That's even too young for me.
21 Pilots. All right, good. I meant Celine Dion. Go ahead.
No, that was one of my...
So you know the Liza, and
Yeah.
here's the thing. I can't leave the Liza alone with the Donald. That's not right. And you know what? If my beloved Liza, needed a happy pill that day, don't you judge. Don't you dare judge. Look, everybody's on Adderall. They're like, what? It's a big deal. It's called breakfast. And so anyway... So I show up there, and Tiff and I get out of the car, and then I see the Donald. Now, first of all, do you want to hear about the hair? Because don't act like you're not interested. Okay, so we've both seen it super up close.
Yeah.
Now, when I see him, I'm so rude. I'm just like, well, I can't do that now because I guess he's a congressman or something. I'm in denial. Anyway, so here's what it is. Okay, so I've been studying this for years. As long as I've known him, it's only 3 colors. It's either platinum, green, or yellow. And I find that amazing because supposedly he's a billionaire, right? So he can't even get somebody to come in, and I think that poor Melania has to do it. And I think that's terrible because he went to Slovenia, bought her, put her in that crate, and now she's got to do his hair, and that's not appropriate. But here's the real deal. So the first piece of news is it's actually all his hair. Yes. So it all grows out of his head. It's very long and fine. Like when he gets out of the shower, he looks like I was going to say Greg Allman, but who's somebody they would know? Who's got long, fine, blonde hair?
I was going to say Harry Styles.
Harry Styles. Oh my God, you're in a good mood about the Donald today. Jesus, that would make his day. All right, so he's got long, and then he does what I call the structure. So I think what he does is he flips it over. Then Melania has to do the teasing comb to form what I call the nest, and then they flip it back. And I'm sure they use illegal Mexican Aquanet because whatever they spray on there. It causes, if there are any Frank Lloyd Wright fans, kind of like a cantilevered effect here. And even on a windy day like today, it does go up as one unit. Like the shingles don't fall off. And then on the side, it's kind of like a Fonzie, kind of like a greasy, like a Fonzie thing. And then in the back, it's full Billy Ray Cyrus. But it is all his hair. It's just sprayed within an inch of its life, and it's sculpted. So anyway, we get there, and then the Donald isn't in the suit. He's in his casual wear. So I'm going to break it down because he's been so tough on women and women's bodies. I'm going to lay it out like it is. So he's there in the pleated Dockers, right? So his fucking gunt is hanging out. You heard me. You learned a new word, gunt. It's a gut and a cunt. All right, so his gunt is hanging out. His moobs are down to the belt. I mean, his moobs are like that. And then there's my poor Liza, and I'm like, oh no, I got to go save her. So we run over there. And I said hi, and all he wants to do is put Liza and I in the back of the golf cart and show us off, because there's all these pro golfers there. So Liza's a wreck, right? And so I just said hi. She's like, oh, honey, what's happening? Why am I here? Where's the grass? I said, let's take care of this. So then Donald's like, why don't you two get in the back? And he's like, it's the Donald. I'm like, ugh. All right, so he gets in, and I had literally a wild golf cart ride. This is what this book is. Truly, it's stories you can't hear from anyone else. And so he's driving around me and Liza freaking Minnelli, and Liza's going, oh, honey, slow down. I'm getting the spins. I'm getting the spins, honey. Slow down. So I go, the Donald, slow the down. The Liza's getting the sick. He doesn't hear. He's so myopic. He doesn't care here about anything. So he's just like driving and waving. And then he keeps saying stuff like, if you gals ever want to come back and share a bungalow. So I turn to Liza. I go, Liza, I think he thinks we're like the white Oprah and Gail. And then Liza goes, oh, you got to shut that down, honey. You got to shut that down. I don't feel well. So I go, because I love to make things worse. And I said, well, you know what, the Donald, the Liza and I have been going down on each other for years. We'd love a bungalow or any place where we could just cuddle and be lesbian lovers. Oh, honey, stop it. That's so funny. I don't feel good. And so then the rest of the story tells what happened that night. But I just wanted to say, just the golf cart ride with the Donald, the Gunt, the Moobs, and the Liza. Good luck topping that, Megyn Kelly. And Bill O'Reilly with your killing books, killing Jesus, killing my writing. Oh, sorry. It's not like they have any fans, right? I'm fine.
Let's go to another legend, Cher.
Oh, I'm Cher, bitch. I'm Cher, bitch. All right, so I feel like we have to tell the classic. Now, even though if you may know the story, if you're a diehard fan of mine, please indulge, because we've actually never had the experience to tell the story together. This was in one of my specials, but I don't even know if it's the one in the book. But no. It was, okay, so first of all, I'm owning that it's weird that I know Cher. I'm not trying to act like, oh yeah, of course I know Cher, why wouldn't I? I'm from Forest Park, Illinois, it's weird. But Rosie O'Donnell introduced us, and I write a whole section in there about Rosie, how she's like what I call a connector. When she says she's gonna introduce you to someone, she does, and that's very rare. So she's introduced me to a lot of people that are in the book too. Mm-hmm. And so one night I go to Cher's and I drive myself, which I'm too famous to do. But I go and she lives on, I call her house Cher Island. She lives on like her own island in Malibu. If you haven't heard her call C-SPAN, it's genius. Hi, I'm a caller from Malibu. You can Google it. Cher calling it a C-SPAN. It's hilarious because at first they don't know it's her, and they keep wanting to say the name, and she's like, a resident of Malibu. And then she just goes off because she's at least as much of a lefty as I am. But anyway, it's just classic. So anyway, I go over there one night, and we're sitting there, and she always wants to watch a movie. And my goal is to never watch the movie because I want to spend time talking to her. It's Cher. So then I think we might have even been watching Chaz on Dancing with the Stars. But we were watching TV, and then I said, let's get a pizza. And then she was like, great. And then we looked at each other, and I go, I'm too famous to know how to get a pizza. And she's like, what makes you think I know how to get a pizza, bitch? Last time I checked, I was fucking Cher. So why don't you take the story from here, Tiffany? Also, I want to remind you, Tiffany wasn't even with us.
Well, before that, one day I had to call, you wanted to send flowers to Cher or something. So I called her assistant, what I thought was her assistant's phone number, and Cher picked up.
Hello?
And
hello?
I'm like, hello?
Who is this? Sonny?
And I said, and I told Cher, I was like, I'm so sorry, I was trying to call your assistant.
What do you want?
I wanted to get your address.
That's none of your business.
No, she said, I don't know my address.
Oh, yeah, I don't know my address. Why would I know my address?
She said, I'll have my assistant call you back.
I don't know the moon.
So Cher doesn't know her address or where she lives. But anyway, so I was home. I just gotten home, and I knew you were going to hang out with Cher, and Kathy calls me and said, can you order me a pizza?
Well, weren't you like out with your friends?
No, I was in my apartment.
Okay.
But she just said, can you order me a pizza? And I was like, I thought you were at Cher's house. And she's like,
I am.
No, but we don't know how to order pizza. Can you order a pizza to Cher's house? And they're like, and I said, well, I don't know the address. And
not my problem.
Cher doesn't know her own address.
Famous.
So
famous exemption.
I think I literally just called any Malibu pizza place and said, deliver it to Cher's house, and it somehow ended up there.
Wait, didn't they hang up on you? I thought you called and said, I need to send a pizza to Cher and Kathy Griffin, and they were like,
They may have, and I probably called back.
Did I exaggerate? That happens sometimes. Because in my version of the story, they hung up on you, which is funny.
That could have happened, but
let's just go with it did.
The pizza ended up at the house.
And it was delicious, by the way. You actually found not only pizza, but a good pizza place.
Yeah. So.
Pizza happened. But the famous Cher line to her was when she kept going, Tiff, it's Cher. Like you don't know, right? Tiff, how does pizza happen? All right, should we go to questions?
I made it happen. We have to get a Maggie update.
Oh, okay. So if anyone watched my Life on the D List or my talk show or anything, my 96-year-old alcoholic mother is still alive and well. And all right, just so you know, she's been putting me through the paces. So I'm glad you love her unconditionally. But I have some updates for you. And let's see if you're still so in love with her. First of all, she spent the first 6 months threatening to vote for Trump. Now, I know it was a knife in me. I know it was just her way of getting my goat, as she would say. But it would drive me crazy. And I say, Mom, but you love Hillary. Well, I don't know. And I could see she's got this devilish grin. Something happened over in that Benghazi. And I go, Mom, what country is Benghazi in? I don't know. So typical Trump supporter. And so I don't think Trump knows where Benghazi is. Okay, so anyway, then she was threatening to vote for him because she felt his family respects him, and that's more than you and your goddamn siblings do to me. So even though he's got the like fucking date rapists who are gutting wild animals, oh, they must have date raped somebody. They must have date raped a lot. I'm thinking they all allegedly, and I'm just joking, but probably a little American Psycho. And Eddie Munster in American Psycho, I'm sure they've been busy. And so one of my Maggie updates is that, and I'm going to say this proudly, and I don't care who's watching, on Election Day, you know what I'm going to say, because you did it too.
What?
I committed a little something called voter fraud. Yeah. I'm the white Malcolm X by any means necessary. I wheeled her in. She was a little tipsy. And I dangled her Chad for Hillary. Go ahead. Call. Fine.
I love that the first question on the dory is, what's it like to look into Anderson Cooper's eyes? This is from Connie. Connie, I don't know if she's here or not.
I keep waiting to see something in there. But it's literally just an endless hall of mirrors. So it's like him looking at himself and then looking at a reflection of himself and him going, oh, why am I not back in modeling? And then saying, because you've got a great... No, it's... I always love to tell people they love to know what he smells like, and I just say lavender and money. But we'll be doing it again this year. Hope you watch. Yeah. Hope you watch.
Now, this is more of a Google question.
Sure. I'm very techie.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
I would rather do one horse-sized duck, because that is the story of my life. I take on one, hey, where's the dog going? What's going on? I'm not going to take, oh, how much? Come on, babe. How much cash do you have on you? Do you have 10,000 bucks?
I didn't.
She's got probably 10,000 on her. I'll give you 10,000 bucks. Just see my people. Go ahead, hon.
No, we'll wrap it up in more of like a serious note.
Oh boy.
What are 3 things women can do for each other and for themselves?
Oh my God, thank God. Thank God. Okay, welcome to my soapbox where I just fucking rant and rave and lose my fucking shit falling down style. Okay, so here's my soapbox. Kids, learn from me. Like I said, I'm 56 years old. I'm in such a male-dominated field. Any of the ladies here know what that's like. Stand-up comedy, like I said, it's ridiculous. Like if you were going to call your comedy club this weekend and say, you know, will you read me the lineup? I guarantee you, any comedy club in the country, the lineup is still probably like 10 guys and 2 women, if not 11 guys and 1 woman. So it's a big struggle for me. Ageism is my number 1. Gender is 2 at the moment, but when I was younger, it was all gender. And then just the fact that I'm like an obnoxious asshole that guys don't want to fuck and girls don't want to be. Unlike that damn Megyn Kelly. Anyway, I have it against her because I wanted to be born Megyn Kelly and I turned out me. Fuck. I'd love those legs and that blonde hair, but I'm just me. But I would say that what women need to do is, number 1, we need to get, this is the most important part. One of the reasons I'm so allied with the LGBT community is because what I admire so much about the LGBT community, the African American community, every community, Latinos, every group, is every other group, I swear, is better at getting together and mobilizing and helping than just women. And it's a dirty secret about our business. I don't like admitting it, but a lot of women still want to assert that there isn't sexism. It's fucking rampant. And if you hear it from someone, you look at their history, because maybe they got help from a bunch of dudes, because unfortunately, it's still a bunch of middle-aged white guys that are signing the checks. So there are more women in power, but trust me, I have heard everything just in the last year from, we've decided to go pretty. We are just not looking at females at this time. Boy, I wish you would have walked in here 10 years ago. And then my favorite, I had a meeting at Netflix, and I would love to do another special, and I can't get arrested. So I went in to meet with Netflix, and I had a really nice meeting, and then a woman in the meeting goes, yeah, I think you're so funny, but we kind of have that covered with Chelsea. So I'm still fighting everything from Trump saying you're really a female comic to people thinking okay, well, we hired Chelsea or we hired this female comic, we're done for life. So my biggest struggle right now is I'm just desperately trying not to be put out to pasture, because I just don't want to go out to pasture. But the nature of Hollywood and comedy is all right, ladies, time for you to play either the ugly grandma, while all the guys you started out with are with Emma Stone. And so that is still happening all the time. And the other thing is, the guys, if you notice, they really hook each other up. Sandler's going on tour again with Spade, and those guys all help each other. And frankly, the women we're not that good at it yet. And I think there's still an era, and it's a generational thing too. I know the younger girls, the Lena Dunhams and stuff, they don't feel this way. But for my generation and a little bit younger, I think there's still the notion, which is dangerous, there's only room for one of us. And so I think the thing we have to learn from the dudes, we have to learn from the LGBTs and the AAs and all other groups that when the chips are down, you got to really be there for each other. And we're still women, we're still a little on the catty, don't really, we might be nice to each other, but actually doing things to help and support each other at all phases of life. When you're starting, when you're having a rough patch, when you want to have a comeback, all that other stuff. So we got to get better at that, ladies.
Well, you're not out to pasture yet.
Okay.
She's going on tour next year, 50
city tour. What about my Kathy emojis? I want everyone to download those right now, because I know you guys all know how to do that.
Her new book is on sale now. You can even buy it here. She'll be signing it afterwards.
Oh, please buy this book. I'm begging.
New Year's Eve with Anderson Cooper this year.
Yes.
But thank you for coming.
Thank you, and I love you, Tiffy.